All right, let's dive in. Today, we're exploring Chinese black magic.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is. We'll be using excerpts from the book Chinese Black Magic, an exposé, to guide us.
Okay.
So get ready for some fascinating lore and practices. Think poisonous brews, building curses, and talismans.
Well, this book actually presents a pretty balanced view. It says that Chinese black magic isn't always what you might think. It's not always about evil intentions.
That's interesting. It kind of challenges that typical Western view that black magic is, well, black.
Exactly. The book says it can be used for good, too.
Oh, that really is a different take.
Yeah.
So what does it say about where all this, where Chinese black magic comes from, its origins?
It explains that black magic in China is believed to have come from the forces of darkness during these huge battles between good and evil.
Oh, wow.
Like the gods and monsters clashing.
Right.
You actually see these kinds of battles in other cultures, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the Yellow Emperor versus Ch'ih Yu in Chinese mythology, or Indra fighting Vritra in Hindu stories.
Yeah.
Even the Greek myth of the gods versus the Titans.
Right. It's like a universal theme.
It is.
So this idea of cosmic good versus evil is like everywhere.
Yeah.
But how does that connect to the origins of, black magic specifically?
Well, the book suggests that black magic arose from those dark forces. It's not just spells and rituals. It's more like whole philosophy based on might makes right.
So it's not just about love spells gone wrong, but like forces that could shape the world.
Exactly. And one of the key figures connecting humans and the supernatural is the shaman, or Wu.
Oh, yeah, shamans. They've always fascinated me.
Right.
They seem to have such a deep knowledge of the unseen world. So what makes them so important in Chinese black magic?
Well, the word Wu is linked to divination.
Okay.
The oracle bone inscriptions actually show that shamans were really involved in predicting the future.
So from the beginning, they were tied to magic and, like, destiny.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting. In the Shang dynasty, the king was actually also a shaman.
Whoa, wait a minute. So the king wasn't just a political leader, but a spiritual one, too.
Exactly. Shamans were also the first doctors. They used practical knowledge and spiritual practices to heal people.
Fascinating.
And some accounts even say they used, get this, phosphorescent materials,
Okay.
maybe from bones to glow during rituals.
Okay, that's both cool and creepy.
Right.
It's like super spooky.
Yeah.
What's the connection between shamans and the seasons, though?
Oh, right. The Chinese character for summer is actually a pictograph of a dancing shaman doing rain magic.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it just shows how vital they were to good harvests and, everyone's well-being.
That's awesome. Magic really was ingrained in ancient Chinese culture.
Speaking of systems, what about the Ganzi system? That's like the blueprint for Chinese magic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. The Ganzi system, which is made up of the 10 celestial stems and the 12 terrestrial branches, maps out the relationships between the cosmos, the elements, and even time. It's the basis for all sorts of magical practices.
Okay, I'm starting to see how everything is connected. Can you break down the Ganzi system a bit more? Like, what are those stems and branches, and how do they actually relate to magic?
Think of it as a cosmic clock, mapping out the connections between heaven and earth.
Okay.
The 10 celestial stems are linked to the 5 elements, and each element has a yin and yang form.
Okay.
And these then correspond to the 4 heraldic animals.
Ah, okay. And the 12 terrestrial branches, those are the 12 animal signs of the Chinese zodiac, right?
You got it.
So that's where the zodiac fits in. It's starting to make sense. But how do the heraldic animals, the zodiac, and the 5 elements all work together in magic?
A lot of Taoist magic rituals actually follow the sequences of the Lo Shu.
The Lo Shu.
Yeah, it's a magic square based on how the 5 elements interact. It's about, understanding their energy and then using that energy to get certain results.
Right. And you mentioned the Fang Shan, or bear dance is connected to this.
Yeah, it's a great example.
A bear dance. What's that about?
It was performed when there were calamities, plagues or droughts.
Oh, wow.
So someone, usually an official, would dress up as a bear, which symbolizes Ursa Major's power.
Okay.
And they'd be accompanied by 12 other people dressed as different animals, representing the 12 terrestrial branches.
Okay.
And together, they do this dance to ward off evil and restore harmony.
Wow, that's quite the visual. What kind of magic is this bear dance associated with?
It's considered the highest form of Taoist magic used to fight black magic.
Interesting.
It draws on the power of both heaven and earth.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
Okay, so we've got these cosmic battles, the shaman as a mediator, the intricate Ganzi system, and now a bear dance. It's
Yeah.
like a whole hidden world is opening up.
It really is.
And this is just the beginning.
Exactly. And it gets even more interesting when we start exploring specific practices, like coup magic. It's a dangerous and fascinating type of Chinese black magic.
Cool magic. Okay, that sounds intense. What's involved?
It's about making potent and poisonous concoctions.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, and the core ingredient is a preparation made from the 5 poisonous animals.
5 poisonous animals. Okay, you have to tell me everything. Who are they?
We're talking snake, scorpion, centipede, spider, or sometimes a lizard is substituted and then frog, or sometimes toad.
Okay, that is quite a creepy, crawly crew.
It is.
Not something you'd want to stumble upon in your kitchen.
No, definitely not.
So what was the point of making these poisonous animal brews?
Well, coup magic was used for all sorts of things, both good and bad.
Such as?
It could be used for healing, but also for causing illness, controlling victims, or even, according to folklore, transforming people into animals.
Wait, hold on. Transforming people into animals? That's like something out of a fairy tale?
It is. One example is this gold caterpillar. It was believed to be a venomous snake or insect whose excrement was used in coup magic. Some accounts say that if you ingested it, it would cause death,
Yikes.
while others claim it could bring you wealth, but at a terrible cost.
So like a dark side to coup magic, this idea that power comes with a price.
Right. And the book also mentions an antidote using Jiang Ho.
Hang ho.
Yeah, also known as Zingiber Myoga, was like a wild ginger.
Okay.
It was thought to be this potent antidote for coup poison.
Wow, so the ancient Chinese really had a deep understanding of both poisons and their antidotes.
They did.
That's fascinating. Okay, let's move on to something maybe slightly less creepy.
Okay.
What about Lupan magic or building magic? What's that all about?
That's practiced by masons and carpenters.
Okay.
They use charms, talismans, and building techniques to influence a structure's energy.
Wait, so you're saying that my house could be secretly cursed?
It's possible. The Book of Lupan describes some interesting techniques, like placing a wooden image of someone in a pillar could cause sickness,
Oh.
or hiding 7 multicolored puppets in a wall could make a house haunted.
7 puppets. That sounds like a horror movie waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But building magic wasn't always used for curses, right?
No, not at all. It could also bring blessings. Like hiding rice in a supporting beam was believed to bring wealth and abundance.
Interesting. It's like that balance between the light and dark aspects of magic again.
Exactly.
Okay, so now I'm curious about puppet magic.
Okay.
What can you tell me about that?
Well, it's a powerful form of Chinese black magic that uses, well, puppets to harm or control people.
Okay.
It's actually related to building magic because carpenters can imbue these puppets with magic.
Oh, wow. Like voodoo dolls, but on another level.
Yeah, kind of. Like they might make bamboo images of someone with their name and horoscope to inflict harm.
That's creepy.
The book also mentions Amoy witches who were said to imbue wooden dolls with familiar spirits to do their bidding.
That's even creepier.
Right. There's this one chilling tale about a man named Chow and a woman named Miss Three.
Okay.
It's a story of betrayal, transformation, and just how unpredictable magic can be.
I'm all ears. What happened to Chow and Miss Three?
So Chow was traveling and stopped at an inn run by this woman, Miss Three.
Okay.
Little did he know she was a black magic practitioner.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she used a combo of wooden cow magic and poison cakes to turn her guests into donkeys.
She turned them into donkeys. What?
Yeah, and then stole all their possessions.
That's wild. What happened to Chow?
Luckily, he didn't eat the cakes,
Okay.
and he figured out what she was doing.
Phew.
He tricked her into eating one of the cakes herself, which turned her into a donkey.
Smart. But what about the spell? Could he reverse it?
Sadly, he couldn't.
Oh, no.
He ended up having to ride her like a donkey for 4 years.
4 years. That's rough.
It is. He finally met an old man who recognized her and broke the curse. She ran off and was never seen again.
Wow, that's a reminder that magic, especially black magic, can be really unpredictable.
For sure.
Okay, let's move on to another powerful type of magic. What about Maoshan magic? It's a form of Taoism, right?
It is, and it's often linked to black magic.
Interesting.
It's known for using snake-like spirits to harm people.
Snake-like spirits. There's that serpent theme again.
There is.
It seems so central to Chinese black magic. Were there ways to protect yourself from Maoshan magic?
The book talks about this thing called the Suqi ritual.
Suqi ritual.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a way to overcome Maoshan curses.
Okay.
It's a complex ceremony that has to be performed at specific times, often involving calling upon protective deities.
Interesting. So, like, fighting magic with magic.
Yeah, that's one way to think about it.
What other techniques were used?
Thunder magic plays a big role in countering Mao Shan magic.
Thunder magic. I'm intrigued.
It's believed to, like, dispel negative energies and banish evil spirits.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like a lot of Chinese black magic is about manipulating these different forces.
It is.
Okay, so what kind of rituals are involved in thunder magic?
Well, there's this really fascinating one called the Ho-Tu dance.
Ho-Tu.
Yeah, also known as the magical step of Yu.
Wait a minute, you, like the emperor who tamed the Great Flood.
That's the one.
What's the connection to the Ho-Tu dance?
So the legend goes that Emperor Yu used the Ho-Tu dance to control the floodwaters,
Oh, wow.
harnessing the power of the Pakua.
So thunder magic draws on that same ancient wisdom then.
It does. It uses specific movements and invocations to, like, direct cosmic energy.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've covered so much.
We have.
From cosmic battles and shaman mediators to the intricate Ganzi system and a magical bear dance. And it's just the tip of the iceberg.
It is. There's so much more to uncover.
Well, I can't wait to dive even deeper. Before we move on, though, there's one more topic I'd like to touch on. The 6 Chia spirits.
Ah, yes, those are powerful demonic entities associated with, you guessed it, the serpent.
There it is again. That serpent really seems to be at the heart of a lot of this Chinese black magic.
It does. And the 6 Chia spirits play a big role in Mao Shan magic.
Okay, so what's the story behind these 6 Chia spirits?
The book describes this epic battle where the Yellow Emperor, also known as Huang Ti, defeated the 6 Chia spirits and their master, the serpent.
So another example of that cosmic good versus evil clash, then
Exactly.
even though they were defeated, they're still used in Mao Shan magic. How does that work?
Mao Shan practitioners believe they can control and manipulate these spirits through rituals and talismans.
I see.
They're often called upon to cause harm or misfortune.
It's a reminder that even knowledge of these dark forces can be used for both good and bad.
Very true. Chinese black magic is complex, just like, reality itself.
That's a great point. It's not just black and white. There are so many shades in between.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, with spirits like the 6 Chia that can be used for bad, is there any real protection against black magic?
That's a good question. Like, if someone can make a cursed puppet or summon a spirit, you'd feel pretty vulnerable.
Well, the book does offer some hope. It says that aligning with the way of the Tao can make you immune to black magic.
Oh, interesting. So it's not about finding a specific counterspell or something. It's about, like, living by a higher principle.
Exactly. Living in accordance with the Tao,
Yeah.
which is all about balance and harmony and virtue.
Yeah.
That's seen as the best protection.
I can see that. Like, if black magic thrives on disharmony, then having inner peace and being a good person would make you less susceptible to it.
Exactly. And the Pakua, those 8 trigrams we talked about, perfectly illustrate this idea of harmony as defense.
Oh, right. The Pakua, those were connected to the 5 elements and the 4 heraldic animals, right?
Yes. The Pakua isn't just a symbol. It represents how these forces interact. And there are these 2 relationships within the Pakua that are really important here: mutual production and mutual destruction.
Mutual production and mutual destruction. Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me. What are those, and how do they relate to harmony and black magic?
Okay, so imagine the elements, like gears in a machine, right?
Okay.
Mutual production describes this cycle where the elements support and nourish each other.
Okay.
Like wood produces fire, fire produces earth, and so on.
Yeah,
It creates balance and helps things grow.
gotcha. So like a harmonious ecosystem. What about mutual destruction?
Well, those are about conflict and opposition between the elements.
Okay.
Like wood overpowers earth, earth conquers water, water puts out fire, fire melts metal, and metal cuts wood.
Right, right. It's a cycle of conquest, which obviously disrupts harmony.
Exactly. And that's where black magic can thrive,
Yeah.
in that imbalance.
Yeah.
But by cultivating the virtues of the Tao, things like compassion, humility, and integrity,
Yeah.
we actually create those mutual production relationships within ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah.
And that acts like a shield against darkness.
Wow, that's really powerful. It means we actually have a role to play in combating black magic, not just through rituals, but through how we live our lives.
Exactly.
We talked about 2 different Pakua arrangements, early heaven and later heaven. What's the difference between them?
The early heaven arrangement, which is also known as the Fuxi arrangement, is circular, reflecting that continuous flow of energy in mutual production.
Right.
It's associated with a time when humanity was more in tune with the Tao.
So it's like a visual representation of that perfect state of balance. What about the later heaven arrangement?
The later heaven arrangement, or the king-wen arrangement, is more linear.
Okay,
It reflects those confrontational mutual destruction relationships.
I see.
It's linked to a time when humans started to stray from the Tao, which led to more conflict and imbalance.
That's fascinating. So the pakua can symbolize both harmony and disharmony. But if early heaven is the ideal, why did King Wen create the later heaven arrangement? What changed?
That's a great question. The book doesn't really say, but it seems like something shifted in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe reflecting how society was becoming more complex with all its conflicts and power struggles.
Right, right. Makes you think about how our choices, individually and collectively, might actually affect the balance of these forces. Speaking of which, the book mentions that family harmony is a strong defense against black magic.
Yes, it's like family harmony is this little microcosm of cosmic order. When a family lives in accordance with the Tao, they actually create a shield against negativity.
I like that. A family as a miniature early heaven arrangement, radiating out harmony.
Exactly. So even in the midst of chaos, we can make these little pockets of peace that, spread outwards.
Are there any rituals or anything in Chinese culture that express this idea of family harmony as a protection?
Yeah, the book mentions hanging the Fu Sipakua above the main door of a home. So
Oh,
it's like a visual reminder of the importance of harmony
right.
and a symbol to ward off evil.
Like a spiritual welcome mat. So, to sum it up, even though black magic is real, the ultimate protection comes from aligning with the Tao, being a good person, and having strong family relationships.
Exactly. It's a message that's echoed throughout history in different cultures.
It's a nice thought, actually. We're not just victims of fate. We can make choices to shape our own reality.
That's right. And speaking of shaping reality, the book also talks about how animals are perceived and used in magic. It highlights what they call the four intelligence.
The four intelligence.
Yes. They are the dragon, the phoenix, the unicorn, and the tortoise.
Oh, May.
They're seen as wise and powerful and spiritually significant. They're often used in rituals and artwork as good luck symbols.
So it's not just the five poisonous animals, then. There's a whole spectrum of animals with different symbolism in Chinese magic.
Exactly. And even animals that are usually associated with negativity, like the serpent, can have positive meanings.
Huh.
Remember how we talked about the lung, the benevolent dragon,
Yeah.
versus the serpent, which is often linked to darker forces?
Right, right. The same image can have totally different meanings depending on the context.
Exactly. And that fluidity extends to how animals are used in magic, too. The book mentions how in some ancient rituals, animals were sacrificed.
Okay.
But it wasn't necessarily seen as cruel. It was a way of honoring the spirits and asking for their help.
That's interesting. It makes you think about how our modern day views about animals are pretty different from how people saw them in the past.
For sure.
Yeah.
Back then, the relationship between humans and animals was a lot closer, and animals were super important in their spiritual beliefs.
That makes sense. Actually, this reminds me of the Feng Xiangji or bear dance that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, the one where someone dresses up as a bear and leads this procession of people
Yeah.
dressed as animals.
That's the one. It's not just a spectacle, though, right?
No, definitely not. It comes from ancient shamanic traditions.
There's that shaman connection again.
Yeah,
It makes me think there's a link to animal spirits here.
you're right. The bear dance is all about calling upon animal spirits, their power and wisdom, to get rid of evil and bring back balance.
So it's like a big shamanic journey connecting humans and the animal realm.
Exactly.
Beautiful. But why a bear specifically? What makes it so important in Chinese mythology?
Well, the bear is seen as a symbol of strength and courage, and also a connection to nature. In their myths, it's linked to Ursa Major, the Big Dipper, which they saw as this source of celestial power and guidance.
So the bear in the bear dance is like a channel for that energy, bringing down the power of the stars to heal and protect.
You got it. And the 12 animals that accompany the bear, they represent the 12 earthly branches, which symbolize how everything's connected and the cyclical nature of time.
Okay, so it's like this little model of the whole cosmos, with the bear representing the heavens and the 12 animals as the earth, all dancing together to bring back harmony.
Exactly.
This is incredible. So if the bear dance, which uses animal spirits, is a way to fight black magic, does that mean black magic itself also uses animal spirits, just in like a twisted way?
That's an interesting thought. It does seem to suggest that both black magic and these rituals that combat it are tapping into forces that are bigger than us,
Yeah.
Forces that can be either good or bad depending on how they're used.
So it's not just about human intentions.
Right.
Chinese black magic might also involve forces that we can't completely control.
Exactly. It's this whole complex system rooted in ancient beliefs, but ultimately it reflects this universal struggle between harmony and disharmony
Right.
that we all experience.
That's a powerful takeaway. It's a reminder that magic, in a way, reflects who we are, both the good and the bad.
Hmm.
But I'm still really curious about the specific ways that animals are used in black magic. The book mentioned using animal parts, and I'm ready to get into that.
Yeah, that's a common practice in many cultures. It comes from this idea that animal parts hold their concentrated essence or power.
Right,
In
right.
Chinese black magic, it can range from using something like snake skin to ward off evil to, well, more disturbing things like sacrificing animals or using their organs in potions.
Yikes, that got dark quickly. Does the book give any examples?
It mentions using human hair and nail clippings in some spells
Ooh.
because they believe those things stayed connected to the person.
Flip.
They also used animal bones, particularly ones with unusual features, as either talismans or ingredients for potions.
It's crazy to think that stuff we consider ordinary could have had such magical significance to them. It just shows the power of belief.
It does. And that brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of Chinese black magic: poisonous animals. We've already talked about the 5 poisonous animals in coup magic, but the book has a lot more to say about their symbolism.
All right, lay it on me. What does it say about those poisonous animals and why they were used in black magic?
So the 5 poisonous animals, they represent both danger and power.
Okay.
They embody these untamed forces of nature, like the hidden threats that lurk beneath what seems ordinary.
So they symbolize the darker side of nature, those things that could hurt us?
Exactly. But it goes beyond just the poison. They also represent chaos and disruption and the power to inflict pain. So those practicing black magic would call on their power to control and manipulate those forces offered to use against their enemies.
It's like turning the things we fear most into weapons. Let's talk about each animal individually, starting with the snake, which seems to be, like, everywhere in Chinese black magic.
Yeah, the snake is super interesting. It holds this really complex place in Chinese mythology.
Right, it's connected to both wisdom and danger, healing and poison.
Exactly. In black magic, it's often seen as this symbol of primal power, and its venom represents this ability to harm and control.
Like this double-edged sword, capable of good and evil depending on how it's used.
Totally. And the scorpion's kind of similar.
How so?
Well, it's associated with aggression, defense, and striking quickly.
Ah, I can see that.
In black magic, its sting symbolizes pain and retribution.
It's like all these animals become metaphors for human emotions and actions.
That's a great way to put it. And it applies to the centipede, too, which is often linked to stealth and navigating secret paths.
Okay.
In black magic, it can represent how curses kind of secretly work against someone's well-being.
Like these hidden forces working against you, unseen dangers? What about the spider?
The spider obviously is all about weaving webs,
Right.
and webs can be seen as representing interconnectedness.
Yeah.
But in black magic, they can also symbolize entrapment, manipulation, and being controlled.
Wow, so even something beautiful can have a dark side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, we have the frog or toad. What do you think they symbolize?
Well, they're usually associated with transformation like metamorphosis and moving between different realms. So maybe they represent the power to actually change reality, maybe even shape-shifting.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Frogs and toads, especially because they're connected to water,
Right.
which is often linked to the unconscious mind, represent both growth and decay. In black magic, they symbolize the power to manipulate reality, to change someone's luck, or even transform them completely.
It's a reminder that, at its core, magic, especially black magic, is all about power. The power to change, to influence, and to control. And those 5 poisonous animals, with their venom and their primal energy, really show us the dark side of that power.
That's a great insight. Black magic isn't just about spells and curses. It's about tapping into these hidden energies that shape our world. And those energies can be used for both good and bad. The 5 poisonous animals remind us of that power that exists in the shadows.
It makes you think twice about messing with those forces.
Definitely. It's a good reminder that even knowledge of these dark arts can be dangerous. It's up to us to use that knowledge wisely.
To choose harmony over destruction. I like that.
Me too. And as we delve deeper into Chinese black magic, we come across stories that highlight not just animal parts, but also this belief in creatures that are part human and part animal.
Wait, are we talking about like mythical creatures now?
Yeah. The book describes all kinds of animal men, beings that have traits of both humans and animals.
Interesting.
They often combine human intelligence with animal strength and ferocity.
Okay.
These represent this raw, untamed power, and they can be really dangerous if they're provoked or if they're controlled by evil forces.
So like werewolves and vampires, but with a Chinese twist?
Exactly. One example is the tiger.
Tigers.
Yeah, they can shift between human and tiger form.
Whoa!
The book says that sorcerers could actually transform themselves into tigers using magic and then draw on the tiger's power to do all sorts of evil.
Okay, tigers. That's both terrifying and awesome.
Right. And there's this one story about a guy named Lin Shun who was said to have become a tiger.
Okay.
And he started this whole cult that worshipped him as a deity.
Wow. What happened?
The cult became known for being super cruel, and they even practiced human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice. Okay, that's taking things to a whole other level. It just shows how much black magic is about power.
Yes, it's about power. To control, to manipulate, and even to destroy. And the tiger, shifting between human and animal, really embodies that duality of power.
Right.
That potential for both good and evil.
It's a powerful symbol, like this reminder that we all have those forces within us.
We do.
Yeah.
And as we've seen, the world of Chinese black magic is full of symbols like that. Animals, spirits, elements, cosmic forces. They all represent this complex dance of energies that shape our reality.
It's been quite a journey exploring the world of Chinese black magic.
Yes.
We've uncovered so much from its ancient origins and the Ganzi system to even tigers.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
But even after all this, I'm still left wanting to learn more.
Well, that's the beauty of knowledge, isn't it?
It is.
It always opens up more questions and makes you want to dig deeper.
Exactly. And speaking of digging deeper, the book leaves us with this really thought-provoking question. It circles back to the serpent, that symbol of darkness and wisdom
Right.
that we've seen throughout our exploration.
Yeah, the serpent pops up everywhere.
The book asks, if black magic comes from this disharmony in the serpent, what does that say about the serpent's role in, other cultures and mythologies?
That is a great question. It really makes you think about serpents in a different way.
It does.
Like, not just as symbols of evil, but also as potentially representing something good.
Right, that duality we've been talking about.
Exactly. And why we're still so fascinated by them today, all these centuries later.
Right, there's something about that serpent.
There is.
Exploring Chinese black magic almost feels like it's just the beginning of a much bigger journey.
It does, doesn't it?
It makes us question everything and look for a deeper understanding of how light and shadow are always connected.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to keep exploring.
Yes.
The world of Chinese magic is so rich and complex.
It is.
It's tied to history, philosophy, spirituality.
So many amazing stories and insights to uncover.
It really is. So until our next deep dive, keep seeking, keep questioning, and never lose that curiosity.
Well said.